Krishna, hey, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava. Like that, I think.
Ram Raghav, Ram Raghav, Ram Raghav, Rakshamam, Ram Raghav, Ram Raghav,
That's it.
Ram Raghav,
But
Pahima.
when it comes to algorithms, you're into tech, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're into computers, tech, algorithms.
Yeah.
Yes. So the whole thing about Krishna, you know there is Anantasesha, the serpent with many heads.
Right.
Yes, and that's what Krishna is lying on Sesha in every material universe. Vishnu is lying on Sesha and Lakshmi is massaging his feet. But there you have Sesha. He's got unlimited. The artist paints the heads of Sesha Naga until he runs out of space or patience or time, because he has unlimited heads. Each head is uttering the name of God, pastimes. Like we have so many pastimes just in Krishna book, so many pastimes, and those pastimes are being uttered by Seshanaga. And he has unlimited heads, and each head is reciting different pastimes, and he never repeats himself twice. Similarly, he has unlimited heads, and none of the heads ever repeat anything that the other heads have said at all. That is how unlimited Krishna's pastimes are. But when we get down to it, you can reduce all of those hundreds of millions of heads and pastimes and names of Krishna, unlimited, just to 2 syllables. You take all of those, Krish and Na. So that's the algorithmic perfection of all of those names of Krishna.
Right.
Does that make sense? He's still on?
He's still there, yes.
Yeah.
That Vinayak Prabhu, that Krishna, 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 that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to chant that also, right? It's there in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, isn't it?
Maybe. I just read it in Krishna book.
Yes, there in the Krishna book, right? Rama. Yeah, a lot of Hindus are for Lord Ram, but they sing all bogus things. So this is actually bona fide, what Prabhupada has written.
Oh, yes.
They add in minus from, this Gandhi song. Vinayak Prabhu, this Gandhi song about Ram, is it a bona fide song or no?
No, like some of the Hindu groups, they call that Gandhi modified the song and made it like Ishwar Allah Tere Naam and bring in the Allah and in that song. I don't know from where this song is coming. Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram, maybe some Vaishnav saint, he sung that. So
okay, it's not in our books.
Yeah,
so
it's not in Gaudiya Vaishnava literature.
Okay.
I'm sorry. What were you looking for?
No, we were having a discussion that the Hindus modified the song of Lord Ram. They have added.
No, Gandhi modified that.
Oh, Gandhi modified it. Yes, Gandhi modified some songs dedicated to Lord Ramachandra according to his mental concoction, where he uses Ram, Allah, Ishwar all in one.
You're joking.
Yeah.
I know that Gandhi, when he would go to where people were working, maybe in a factory, and he'd have them sing Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram Patita Pavana Sitaram Jaya Sitaram Jaya Sitaram Jaya Sitaram Jaya Sitaram. That used to be his signature song. I didn't know he made another concoction with Allah, etc. in it.
Yeah, this is the same song we were discussing. He sings it like Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram Patita Pavan Sita Ram
I
Ishwar
believe that's bona
Allah
fide.
Tena. So this is how these things he modified it.
When I first visited the temple in San Francisco before I became a devotee, they had a song sheet, and that was on the song sheet, was along with the Hare Krishna Mantra, etc., Govinda Jaya Jaya. So I went to Alaska before I became a devotee. I was working up in the Alaskan wilds, and I would get 50 people together and I had a guitar. I got 50 people together, and we were chanting Hare Krishna Mantra and Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram like that. You know, can you imagine? They had never heard anything like that before in their lives.
Try.
At the time, there were no Hindus at all, pretty much living in the United States.
You are
Just-
bringing Krishna consciousness from past life too.
Well, that's true, yes. There were Hindus living in the United States named Patel, and Patel was synonymous with hotel. They bought all the hotels and etc. And one time I was driving with a friend through Arizona or something of that sort. I needed a place to stay. It was late, and I saw this little, not run down but very humble looking motel, and I'm right out there. Nobody could even know. This was many years ago. This is like 1980, around 1980. So I'm there, and I walk into the motel, shabby. You know, I'm not saying it's run down, but I mean it's not brand new. It's like he bought an old hotel, and he started doing business there. And I walked in, I saw the guy behind the counter. I said, "Oh, Mr. Patel." He nearly fainted. He said, "How did you know my name was Patel?" And I looked around with astonishment, imitation astonishment on my face. I said, "Isn't this a hotel? If this is a hotel, then you must be Patel." He got it. He knew that I knew what was going on.
Yeah, in Gujarati also, the people they say this line that
Well, they are Gujaratis. Patels are all Gujaratis.
yeah. So in that language they say that if ato Patel ni motels hai na, it means that this is the hotel of Patel. So.
And there were nobody was making tons of money yet. They had inexpensive hotels, but in San Francisco, you know, maybe a year after I was born, there was a gentleman named Mujibai Patel, and he had a big family, and he went on to become a huge hotelier guy. But at that time, he just had a little motel or something of that sort. So it was very interesting. And Prabhupada, he came and would offer respects to Prabhupada, which astonished me because I never saw any Indian people going into a Krishna temple. It was always, you know, hippies or people like that, you know.
Yeah, Prabhu. So I also had that question regarding the Dr. Patel that Prabhupada used to have many friendly conversations with him in Mumbai. So sometimes he very much spoke about like in favor of Mayavada philosophy, and some devotees say that he was also not a Vaishnava. So why did Prabhupada entertain him so much?
I'm sorry, I missed.
You know about Dr. Patel? That Dr. Patel with whom Prabhupada used to have many morning walks in Mumbai.
Oh yeah, in India.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sure I met him also on morning walks.
So like he was not very much respectful towards Prabhupada, and he used to talk Mayavada many times. So why did Prabhupada used to
But I
entertain him
think
so much?
he usually Prabhupada didn't mind that very much, you know, because it gave him a chance on the morning walk to have controversial conversations with people. You know, in other words, if the devotees are with Prabhupada on the morning walk, they can ask very nice questions and Prabhupada will answer them nicely. But Prabhupada appreciated when people came on the morning walk that challenged him and stuff like that. And that way he could go into a very powerful siddhanta to cure them of their impersonalism or their Mayavadism or their that's impersonalism or their sahajism, sentimentality. And for the devotees, us or walking along chanting our japa on the morning walk with Srila Prabhupada, that was really wonderful, mind-boggling, really wonderful to hear these controversies. Like with Mr. Patel or Dr. Patel?
I think Dr. Patel.
Yeah, Dr. Patel.
Yeah, I mean, Dr. Patel was an intelligent person also. He had some background in Sanskrit and religious studies and Vedanta and different Mayavadi points that he used to raise, and Srila Prabhupada corrected him. And in this way, he instructed his disciples also. Not only that.
Yeah, how to do it.
Yeah, how to do it and how to defeat these impersonal, bogus, Krishna is just some energy, or Krishna is not a person, the supreme being is formless. So all this Prabhupada, helps.
Like they say, when a mother cat goes hunting for mice and catches mice, the baby kittens learn how to catch mice too by watching.
Yes, yeah. So I think, I don't think, but this is a very wonderful service that Dr. Patel has done to in this morning conversations where he's bringing up all these points. So in one way, there's no doubt of Srila Prabhupada's position as the Acharya and defeating all opposing arguments, and then him having a discussion with this fellow, Dr. Patel.
Yeah, that's great.
I think he was a Chinmayananda follower.
Acha, Chinmayananda follower, okay.
No, maybe. I'm not confirmed. Because one devotee, he was saying that once Prabhupada spoke too much harshly about his guru, who was a Mayavadi. So every time Prabhupada used to ask him that, are you a Mayavadi? He used to say that, no, I am a Vaishnava. But one day Prabhupada spoke very harshly about his guru and he became angry and he went away with his car. So then Prabhupada was saying that whenever you hit a person with a stick, then he starts speaking. So he just spoke harshly so that he can know what he actually is.
Apparently, Dr. Patel Prabhu used to come all the time whenever Prabhupada used to go for morning walks, and sometimes the discussion used to get very heated also, right? Very interesting.
Well, that's perfect. But Prabhupada could not have done that unless he was surrounded by his disciples. Because before he came to America, he would go to a tea shop to sell Bhakti guidance. It was not easy to sell them, so people just weren't into it. But when Prabhupada comes surrounded by disciples, then people are ready to pay attention to what he has to say. And that's a very wonderful thing to remember.
Yes. So when Prabhupada, that's a very good point. When Srila Prabhupada had some Western disciples, then people started taking him seriously. It's very interesting.
Oh, they couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I was there. And they were just, their eyes would bulge out. They couldn't believe that these Westerners, sannyasis, brahmacharis, householder women with their heads covered, because the Indian women were all practicing putting the sari over their shoulders so their hair could show. And they were all acting just like paka brahmacharinis and householder ladies, and the sannyasis and householder men, and the mridangas and the kartals, wonderful kirtans. It was just absolutely overwhelming for the Indian people, because they would come up to me and say, we're trying to give all this up and become like you guys in America. And here you come dressed up like us that we're trying not to look like that anymore. And I said, well, if you go to America and become like Americans, you will not be satisfied. Maybe you will make some money, maybe you won't. But the main thing is you will not be that satisfied. This is satisfaction here. Otherwise, why us Americans are coming to India and chanting Hare Krishna? Why should we? What's the point?
Prabhu, is it possible to bring back that culture of Iskcon again, in which like women are properly dressed in saris, heads covered, men in dhotis and everything? Because nowadays, even we have seen that even in initiation, the gurus, they come in jeans, t-shirt, initiate the disciples. And yeah, the proper dressing that Prabhupada introduced, that's no more followed in Iskcon very widely.
Yeah.
I think it's being followed in India. No, everyone has nice dhotis and
In
women have-
India, men follow the like not at the standards which Prabhupada set, like women covering up their heads and wearing full sleeved saris and everything. But men are wearing dhotis, so till that it's been followed. Yeah, but in Western countries, like sometimes even gurus, they come to initiation in jeans, t-shirt, and these things.
Hare Krishna, Rishabh Dev Prabhu. It's nice to see you.
Oh, Haribol.
Haribol.
Finally, we get to see you.
Yes.
We came across each other at the Thanksgiving in Los Angeles. And then I understand you went up to Big Bear.
Yes.
What were you doing? It's no snow, so what were you up to?
We just went to the zoo.
The zoo.
Yes.
I didn't even know they had a zoo. I thought
Yes.
it's sort of what I thought Big Bear was a zoo. You go out and
Oh,
see
yeah.
all the wild animals. So it's a good thing you're here. We're very glad to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you too, Prabhu. Prabhuji.
Jai.
Rishabh Dev Prabhu, you can ask your questions, whatever you wanted. Remember, we were discussing, or you want to ask it offline? It's up to you. This is going live out to all the people who are watching. So your question might help. Or if you don't have anything else you want to discuss, this is the platform for that.
Yes. Well, I was just wondering about marijuana use and when I use it and chant, I just feel like my lower chakras become activated, and I'm just wondering
Well,
if I
yeah,
should-
the ganja or marijuana does not work for the higher chakras.
Oh,
Only Shiva smokes ganja or marijuana. Do you like smoking marijuana? It's one of the things to give up,
yes.
but gradually to give it up. But you'll see that the clarity of mind that comes when you don't, it may make you feel mellow when you're chanting, but when you are clear from it, your mind becomes so sharp and clear when you're chanting from the chanting that you don't want anything to get in the way, including any type of intoxication.
Yeah.
I guess, yes. That's just knowledge. You make your progress in your own way.
Yes.
You were living at the temple at one
No.
time?
No, I'm living with my wife, well, my ex-wife and my daughters.
Oh,
And-
nice.
And sometimes I'm living with my mother.
Oh, nice. So sometime when you're with your mother or with are your daughters in the same room, building where you are right now?
No, they're in a different room right now. I'm in their room.
Are they asleep?
Yes.
But sometime it'd be nice if you introduce them on the Zoom call. Little children are sort of amazed to be able to talk to people. We have a gentleman, well, we have Ramachandra is in Sacramento. I'm in Los Angeles. There's a gentleman calling from Tokyo, Japan.
Wow.
And we have people from all over India that call in too. So when your children are awake, it would be nice to introduce them, and they will be able to get the sense that what we're doing is global, not just local.
Yes. Yes, that would be awesome, Prabhu.
Yeah, my daughter was participating yesterday. So my daughter knows Narayan, Rupa Manjari, Mahaprabhu, and the devotees here. So
Wow.
they'll get to know and be like, oh, they look forward to the meetings and saying hi to the devotees here. So it's a personal relationship with the devotees, and they can ask questions also.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. Children sometimes can ask very intelligent questions that you didn't know that they were going to ask. Didn't suspect that was in their conscious existence. I mean, sometimes children are simply silly, but at other times they ask such penetrating question that when you answer, you say, I cannot take this lightly. I have to answer this question of this child in such a way that's equal to the sincerity of the question. Not just, oh, kid, ha, 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 I'll answer it any old way. No, it's not like that.
Yeah.
Jai.
Jai.
Prabhu,
Yes, Vinayak Prabhu, go ahead, Prabhu.
yeah, like yesterday before finishing, we were talking about like Radhanath Maharaj. So I want to ask you a question that in a scenario, for example, if a person he is acting a guru in front of everyone, in his mind he is offering all his disciples to Srila Prabhupada. So in that case, is that bona fide, and the disciples they get the benefit of the like serving Srila Prabhupada and everything?
Oh, but what is the point? What's the point? I should ask.
Yeah,
I mean,
just
you
because
do that.
of
You don't,
political pressure, somebody is.
do you need him to do it, or can any senior devotee in the temple be like that? When I first came to the temple, obviously, well, most of the time, Prabhupada was in a different temple. But all the senior men in the temple, they could offer all sorts of guidance and answer questions and help you make advancement to their stage very nicely without any designation. They didn't require to be named as a initiator or guru or something of that sort. And in fact, what's the point? What does the guru offer that you cannot get directly from Prabhupada, I would like to ask? You know, do you have to?
Yeah, Prabhu, like that's a kind of question that thinks about before taking initiation.
Yeah.
And maybe like many there are maybe in Iskcon leadership also there are many people who are very much realizing that they are not the gurus, but still due to political pressure they have to be in that position.
Whoever reads Prabhupada's books, I mean, Prabhupada says guru means heavy in knowledge. Then he said heavier than me in knowledge. So if a man reads Prabhupada's books and you come in off the street and you've never seen a Prabhupada book, and he starts showing you how to read the book and asks you questions when you've read something, or you ask him questions about what you've read, that person is like a guru. But not that you take an initiation from him. Because as to answer your question, if that person gives you initiation, he takes on your karma. And if he takes on your karma, you're stuck with him in your next birth. he takes another birth, you have to take another birth with him. Whereas if you go for Prabhupada, you don't have to take another birth with that person. Your connection and your deliverance is in the realm and the hands of Srila Prabhupada himself. Is that right?
What if the person is giving initiation on behalf of Prabhupada?
Why? Initiation on behalf of Prabhupada can
Like
be done by any
officiating
devotee.
acharya.
Who in a temple, whoever is performing the wedding ceremony, whoever is doing the Shraddha ceremony when someone dies, whoever is doing the Anaprasana ceremony when a child is 4 months old and taking the first grains, whoever is doing any of those ceremonies, they can also do Diksha. They can give you first initiation, and they can give you second initiation, and they can also give you sannyas. It doesn't have to be a special designated person per se. It's just a person that, like in Los Angeles, we have a guy, Rabindranath, and he does all the ceremonies. And then during a wedding ceremony, initiation ceremony, even if there's a guru sitting there, an Iskcon guru sitting there, he performs the ceremony himself with the fire sacrifice. So it's not even necessary to have anybody else there. You can do the fire sacrifice because that's how Prabhupada did it. Abhovitra, bhovitrava, whether purified or unpurified. And that's how you get your karma burned up in the fire of the sacred fire in the Diksha ceremony.
But that
So
was
I don't know why people feel they have to find some earthly guru.
no, like no, I was trying to explain in a different context. Like question was in a different context. So just for example, if someone is performing maybe we can say as Iskcon guru is performing the initiation, and he is acting as an officiating acharya, but in front of all the people are thinking that he is the initiator guru, but actually in his mind he is acting as an officiating acharya, and he is offering his disciple to Srila Prabhupada. In that scenario, I'm not saying that instead of doing that.
And he can do that, but he does that to initiate someone to Prabhupada. Officiating acharya means
Initiate to Prabhupada.
a disciple of Prabhupada.
Yes,
and how? Prabhupada said, Iskcon is my body. So if you are initiated by the officiating acharya, you become a disciple of Prabhupada as Iskcon.
Yeah, in that case also that new initiated disciple will be going to the planet of that guru, because for just a public show due to political pressure or maybe something, that guru is just claiming that okay, I am the guru, but in his mind also
That's where the problem comes in, and it's become a rather large, like an elephant wandering around the room that no one is noticing. Is that how can you not notice the elephant? Well, it takes a lot of effort not to see an elephant in the room. And that is because these gurus of Iskcon, I mean, they are not qualified to be gurus. So what are they doing? Why are they becoming gurus of Iskcon? They could be officiating acharyas, as you put it, and they would then be initiating in behalf of Srila Prabhupada. But Prabhupada is descended from, it's a pure, transparent fire medium. Nobody else is. As long as people are completely consumed with their material bodies in their material lives in a temple of Iskcon, we may be making advancement away from the bodily consumption of life, but everyone is still firmly, if you talk to a devotee, they're talking from the body, not as the jiva, generally speaking. At least I don't normally hear people speaking as jivas. So if that person is not speaking as a jiva, then the guru also is not speaking as a jiva. He's speaking as the body of a guru, then it's just a ritual on earth. It has nothing to do with Krishna Loka. You see?
Mm.
Yes,
If you want
Prabhupada.
Krishna Loka, you have to go to someone from Krishna Loka, not going. But if we are just look at Krishna consciousness like it's some sort of a Catholic church or a religion of some sort, then you have everything on the earthly level. You know, in the Catholic Church, you have priests and you have bishops and you have cardinals and you have popes. They're all, none of them claim to be from Krishna Loka. They all are representing the religion as earthly beings. But that's not Krishna consciousness. The reason is because what can the guru, Iskcon guru, offer that is worth taking initiation from it? Why? I don't know the answer to the question, so maybe you can answer it for me. What does he offer that will give you the benefit? And what is the benefit you're looking for from the earthly guru? Are you looking to that he will take you back to Godhead?
What do you think, Vinayak Prabhu? What's the answer? Or what do you think? They tell the prospective student that, okay, you take an Iskcon guru, what do you get?
Yeah, they just get frustrated and they just say that I don't want to argue anymore. So they don't say anything.
But I mean, there's a guru. There's one devotee that used to be on our Zoom call, very beloved person that we care about, and in Mauritius, and he was in Paris, and he was initiated by Bhagavan, and he is very intelligent, very capable, good organizer, good manager of people, and he was doing all this work and making a lot of things work in the temple. He was connecting. They had big programs everywhere, bought fantastic buildings all over the place, and classical French architecture. And then he asked Bhagavan, well, Bhagavan, please tell me, I'm doing all this chanting, but how will I go back? I'm doing all this service, yes, I understand it's transcendental, yes, but how do I go back to Godhead? And Bhagavan, who I trained up, I will say, but not in this matter, he waved his hand in the air like that. Oh, let's see. Oh, I will take you back to Godhead. And then a few years later, Bhagavan left the movement and ran off with somebody's wife who had 8 children.
Mm.
So how can he take him back to Godhead? He can't even take himself back to Godhead. You see, that's the whole point. That's with Rishabh Dev also. That's where we had a conversation some time ago.
I think a lot of people are just looking
entitled
for an
to these
institution to
people.
join. That's it. They
Yeah.
can't.
What? Oh, go ahead. Chandra, go ahead.
No, I'm saying a lot of people just want to join some institution where everything is done in automatic pilot. That's what I've seen, at least here in Sacramento. They join an institution, they don't think, they don't have iṣṭa-goṣṭhīs, they don't have specific discussions, very erudite discussions, very scrutinizing discussions. All is just a show, you know?
Yes. So it means that it's a club.
Hmm.
But when Prabhupada was in the temple and you were in the temple, you felt yourself being guided rapidly up through the disciplic succession to Krishna in Krishna Loka.
Mm-hmm.
But these guys just keep a lid on it.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
You can't get past the problem with the lid is, I mean, are they bad? No, they're wonderful. Are they nice devotees? Generally speaking, they're very nice devotees. Can you make advancement by associating with them? Certainly you can. But what about the lid? You can't get beyond them, and they can't take you beyond themselves. They can't take you back to Godhead. So why are you associating? Just to get some advice? Just to hear what their stories were or what it was like when they were with Prabhupada? And that's going to die off quickly enough, I should say.
It's like having a sponsor.
Yes.
The temple
like-
does, yes, the temple does give some facilities for the new people who are wanting to work 10 to 12 hours a day on the street, distributing the books and giving the money to the temple. So they provide them with some facilities and some food and shelter, the basic minimum.
But how does that person he can do service in the service of distributing books, particularly original books, is wonderful. But how does he make vertical progress as a devotee, as a kanista or we're all neophytes on the Iskcon level is the neophyte stage, Brahman stage, then Paramatma stage, then Bhagavan. Bhagavan is when you're in Krishna Loka. So we're on the launching pad for Krishna Loka, but we are all acting on the relative. Anything horizontal is not spiritual per se. You can do spiritual things horizontally, but in the end, it just ends up being ritual. It does not end up being transcendental. Does that make sense?
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Good.
So Rishabh Prabhu, it's the first time here. I'm sure you have some more questions. This facility is for you and anyone else watching on Facebook and YouTube. So,
Or he may just want to listen, but if you have a question, ask him.
Yes.
Yes, I don't have the very many questions. I just I spend a lot of my time making music and music for Krishna, playing the flute and recording it on Instagram and on TikTok and on
So
YouTube.
explain
Fantastic.
that. I understand you have quite a following.
Yes, it's starting to grow.
How many people so far?
Well, I was able to get 900 viewers on one of my videos.
How many?
900?
900. So
Yeah.
you're having a significant impact on the consciousness of those who need to hear the holy name.
Yes.
Isn't that amazing, Ramachandra?
Yes, the internet is a very nice medium to reach out to the conditioned souls, to bring them closer to Srila Prabhupada. So,
Yeah.
And
So I look at Rishabdev as a great asset that we can start expanding, and you can help us practice and learn how to expand even more. We want to get into a situation where we have several thousand people listening in and asking questions about this Zoom call. You know, the Zoom call, you realize, is all over the world. We get people from New York, from London, from Germany, from India, from Japan.
Mhm.
There's a gentleman from Japan right now, Prabhu.
Yes, Vinayak Prabhu, yes.
Deny.
Where do we go to hear your music, Rishabh Dev?
I'll share the link in the WhatsApp group so you can check it out.
Excellent. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
So that's very wonderful. We welcome you with that wonderful gift of delivering the souls. You have the feeling how to do it, and you're doing it. That's excellent.
We can do it from many mediums, it seems.
Yes.
Through music, through chanting.
Through reading, through associating, through asking questions, through eating prasadam, just appreciating.
Many
But
ways.
Rishabdev has a certain success, and he's made it through. I haven't heard your program, but can you tell us a little bit about it, Rishabdev Prabhu?
About my program?
Yes.
Well, I just play the flute and I sing. And just today I was able to purchase some I forgot what they're called, but they're the bells. I think kirtan.
Oh, the kartals,
Yeah, kirtals.
the round symbols.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I've been looking for a pair.
Yeah. And I'm going to be incorporating that into the music. Tomorrow, I'm going to get to work.
Excellent.
Wonderful.
Yes. And just use it all together.
What are the names of those symbols again, Narayan?
Kartals, Kartals.
Kartals. Thank you, Prabhu.
They're available online, of course, as is everything.
As is everything.
Yes, my father purchased them for me earlier today.
Oh, wonderful.
I took him to the temple, and he was there for the kirtan. And
Yes.
when we also had prasadam.
Wow. Where? In Los Angeles?
Yes.
How wonderful.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, it was his first time going to the temple.
Really?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I wish I
Did
could bring my
did
dad
you
to the
Did
temple.
he go inside the temple?
Yes.
That's wonderful. The deities are incredibly beautiful, aren't they?
Yes.
Indescribably beautiful.
Which one are we talking about?
New York, Los Angeles temple.
On Venice?
Well, Watsika at Venice, yeah.
Mhm. You know that place well, Narayan.
Well, I built the temple,
Hare Krishna.
but that was in 1973.
And it still stands.
Still there.
Do you visit often?
They were closed during the pandemic, so I haven't been there much for a year. But around Thanksgiving time, when I met Rishabdev, I did. I went into the temple, and then Rishabdev and I had a very interesting conversation when I invited him to join us here on this Zoom call, and here he is.
Jai, Haribol.
I was very
Haribol.
impressed by the fact that he's. When you say you're singing, you're chanting Hare Krishna on your program.
Yes.
So isn't that amazing? And 900 people listening, that's incredible. You know, right? All it takes is to hear the holy name of Krishna once. Lord Chaitanya got rid of the middleman. He got rid of the church. He got rid of the mosque or the temple or whatever. He got rid of everything and replaced it all simply with the Hare Krishna mantra. If you want to if you want God, say, I want to go to this church or this mosque or something to find God. Well, you don't need to. Just hear the Hare Krishna mantra, God has found you. You know, if someone hears the Hare Krishna mantra just once, they're going back to Godhead, is guaranteed. Not in 10 minutes, not even in one lifetime. You have to clear up your material body's relationship to you, the soul. You're the soul, and this body is an encumbrance, or it's a coating or covering. We have to separate ourselves, let the winds of heaven blow between the body and the jiva so that there's no contact, so you don't believe that you're the body. And when that happens, then you have a very good opportunity to you chant. And then when you chant, then you can begin to rid yourself of the tendency to take bodies. Because we take bodies, then we die, then we take another. We don't die. The soul is in the body dies, then you take another body, that body dies, you take another body, that body dies. That goes on. There's 8,400,000 species, 400,000 of which are human or humanoid. And those 8,400,000 species, you can take a birth at each one of those species. But if you chant Hare Krishna, your process is cut way down. And if you deliver the chanting as you're doing, if you get others to hear, you're going back to Godhead is quicker and quicker and quicker. The more people that hear the holy name from you, including plants and animals too, They're also just like us, they're souls, but they're not as advanced in terms of birth. So when you do that, with your service you're doing, you are not only giving the Hare Krishna mantra, but you're giving it to a large number of people. They are all going, whoever you're chanting for, whoever hears you chanting, is going to go back to Godhead. That's
Hare
what
Krishna.
you guarantee.
Hare Krishna.
You bypass the religious part. Lord Chaitanya ended religion, only chanting now. We're in desperate times. It's like we're getting into the lifeboats on the Titanic. It's not a good time to pack your suitcase carefully. It's a good time to rush for the lifeboats. So chanting Hare Krishna is the process of rushing for the lifeboats. Whereas if you have like Hindu religion or Buddhist religion or Christian religion or any other religion, all these religions are like packing all your stuff so that you can carry it up the gangplank into heaven. But it's too late. The boat's sinking.
Mhm.
Forget about gradually going to heaven. Chant Hare Krishna and you're delivered. And then you're
Hare
delivering
Krishna.
others. 900 at a shot. That's not bad.
Hare Hare.
Exactly. Is that okay? Prashante Prabhu.
Perfect.
Rishabh Dev Prabhu, have you been associating with Iskcon devotees?
No, I haven't been able to. I go to the temple on Sundays, and that's when I'm around the devotees. But I usually just make music with them, and then I eat, and then I go. I haven't been able to
Well, that's
associate.
You're doing the job. You're doing the job that the holy man does, which is you don't hang out with a bunch of devotees just to hang out with a bunch of devotees. You meet devotees, you exchange concepts, you exchange spiritual energy with them. Then you go and you do your program online, and that is your preaching. That is your life, not that you have to hang out with devotees to have a life. Anyhow, we're hanging out.
Fantastic.
One guy in Tokyo, one guy in Los Angeles, one guy in Sacramento, one guy in India.
You
So
must be
that's-
from New
hanging
York.
out on this Zoom call, and it's just as good as better than hanging out in a temple, in essence.
Try. Okay.
You must be from New York, Narayan.
What?
You must be from New York or back east,
I lived there for a while.
because you talk about this guy and that guy and these guys and those guys.
Oh, I've been paying attention to the Cuomo brothers that just got busted down to the ground.
Hare Krishna. I just thought I'd interject. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I did. I used to live in the Lower East Side on 2nd Avenue and those areas near Houston Street.
Well, Prabhupada was in New York, wasn't he?
Yes, he did. He opened a temple on 2nd Avenue.
That's right. That storefront that he lived in was back east, wasn't it?
It was, the storefront was on 2nd Avenue in New York, very close to Houston Street.
And that's where it all began.
That's where it all began.
Hare
And
Krishna.
formerly it was sort of, I guess, it was a gift shop, hippie gift shop, I guess, and it had psychedelic lettering that said matchless gifts. So when Prabhupada moved in, it became truly matchless gifts.
Matchless.
The Hare
Amen.
Krishna mantra is the matchless gift.
Amen.
Exactly. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
That's the
Amen.
Hebrew thing. Amen means sort of like underlined for. Amen means it's underlined as being extra truthful.
Yes, yes, sir.
Take your time.
Thank
I want to share this picture just for the heck of it. Well, not for the heck of it, but we're gonna discuss this. All right, let me open this up. How times have changed. All right, here it is. So this is the cost of living in 1968, Narayana Prabhu, your time. Can you see? So 1968 cost of living, new house costed about $15,000. Average income was about $7,800. New car was about $2,822. Average rent per month was $130. Tuition to Harvard University was $2,000.
Per year.
Movie ticket was about $1.50, and gasoline was about 34 cents. United States stamp was 6 cents. So, I mean, if we're advancing technologically, why are things getting more and more expensive?
And as a matter of fact, things were much less expensive than on that list in 1968.
No, was it? Okay.
Oh, yeah. About 30% less than that also. Depends
Okay.
where you live.
Right. So if we're advancing in technology, science, and all these things, but why is the cost of living getting more and more? Is it because why? I mean, that's a question to anyone who can answer this.
Profit, no? If you buy something for $1, you sell it for $1.25, then it's worth $1.25, no longer worth $1.
Mm-hmm.
And
So-
inflation.
Inflation,
Inflation, yes.
So just by looking at this, we can see where we're at. I mean, right?
No kidding. But I remember that, what does it say, a house costs?
A house cost, new house, about $15,000.
Yeah.
An
And
average
now,
income.
You know,
per-
I saw houses like that. There were, I think, $17,000 in a very nice housing tract in Northern California, where I was born and raised.
Right.
Many years later, I came back. Do you know how much that they had big billboards saying $17,000 for the house.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how much it was when I came back?
You tell me.
300,000.
Oh my Krishna! Wow.
Same house in the same tract, same district. It wasn't like a comparable house. It was the same house.
When did you come back and looked at it?
Well, I came back, okay, in, I guess it was like the 1970s.
So go touch it today. It's
Yeah,
probably in the millions.
probably. I mean, in Los Angeles, it's like that. There were houses that were selling for like $50,000, and now they're 1 or 2 million.
Mm-hmm.
From 1973, I almost bought a duplex. Actually, a duplex with another unit over the garage for $75,000, not far from the temple. And now, millions. Haribol Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Vinay Agrawal Prabhu.
Jai.
Where are you from? Can you talk?
Hare Krishna.
We can hear you, Vinay Agrawal.
We just saw Mr. Agarwal, if that was Mr. Agarwal.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I am from India.
Acha. How did you come in contact with us on the Zoom?
Yes. I have received a notification from your YouTube channel. Then I will got your WhatsApp group.
Oh, okay,
Hare
very good.
Krishna.
So
Hare Krishna.
we're discussing various things about Krishna consciousness, spirituality. You're welcome to ask questions about Iskcon, Prabhupada, anything spiritual.
Is Mr. Agarwal in India right now, or he's from India?
Where are you, Prabhu? In India right now?
Nearby Delhi.
Oh, nearby
Capital
Delhi.
of- Yes.
Really? How nice.
Fantastic.
My brother used to live in New Delhi in Punjabi Bagh.
Yes, yes. I have listened your this all conversation many times, so I like it.
My
What do you like about it?
That you spend a lot of time in Krishna consciousness talking.
Amen.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
But what do you think about what we talk about?
About the reality of human body, human life.
Hmm.
Actually, I don't know more English, but I a little English, because I am from India.
That's okay.
You're
That's
doing
okay.
great. You're doing great.
So your name Agarwal, does that mean that incense business is Agar incense, or am I mistaken?
1 minute, Prabhuji. Yes, sir. Pardon, Prabhuji.
No, it's not incense, Prabhu. Agarbatti is different thing.
Nara Narayan wants to know if you're in the incense business.
उनको लग रहा है कि आप जैसे अग्रवाल हैं तो उनको लग रहा है कि कोई अगरबत्तियों का बिजनेस होगा.
Only you can understand that, Ramachandra.
No. He can
Yes.
also.
Yes, Mr. Agarwal probably knows Hindi, so Vinayak Prabhu is speaking in Hindi to him, translating. So,
Fantastic.
anyways, looks like he's a little busy, so we'll continue our discussion. Anything else, Vinayak Prabhu, you want to share or ask a question?
Yeah. One thing I wanted to ask, is like Bhakti Devi and Tulsi Maharani is the same thing?
Prabhuji, because I have joined Iskcon from past 3 and 4 months, so I don't know more about it, but I am feeling very happy in my life and my all family's member joining with me.
Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol.
Jai.
Krishna Krishna.
Very good. Okay, Jai. So if you have any questions, Mr. Agarwal, आपका कुछ questions है तो आप पूछ सकते हो. मुझे विनायक प्रभु भी है और सब लोग भी है. हम लोग translate कर सकते हैं English में. नारायण प्रभु बोल सकते हैं.
Prabhu, I have a question
बोलो.
that I have. I can speak in Hindi.
हिंदी बोलो. हाँ, ठीक है. Narayan, he's going to speak in Hindi. I'll translate, or Vinayak can translate. Sure.
You go for it, Ramachandra.
Hindi ne janta.
जैसे इस्कॉन का मंगला आरती सुबह होता है तो हम उस समय नहीं उठ पाते और उसको लेट करते हैं, तो उसमें क्या अपराध है?
Vinayak Prabhu, do you want to answer that? Vinayak, आप आंसर कर सकते हैं ये क्वेश्चन प्रभु के लिए.
ये जो हमको नियम बताए जाते हैं, जैसे सुबह जल्दी उठना, मंगला आरती अटेंड करना, 16 माला जपना, ये एक तरह से ये साधन भक्ति एक तरह से हमारी साधना है. तो हम भक्ति में स्टार्ट करते टाइम इस साधना से हम जुड़ते हैं और डेली ये डिसिप्लिन फॉलो करते हैं, तो हम धीरे धीरे प्यूरिफाई होते हैं. और अगर कभी कभार हमसे मिस होता है तो अपना वो एक तरह से डेली का जो साधना है वो ब्लॉक होता है और अपना एडवांसमेंट इतना डिटरमाइंड तरीके से नहीं हो पाता. तो एक स्टार्टिंग में भक्ति के अंदर एक डिसिप्लिन की बहुत ज्यादा आवश्यकता है, जिससे हमें कृष्णा के प्रति हमारी आस्था बढ़ती है और हमारी श्रद्धा में विकास होता है. तो अगर हम साधना स्ट्रिक्टली नहीं करेंगे तो हमारी जो एडवांसमेंट है उस पर फर्क पड़ता है, क्योंकि हमारी भगवान के प्रति आसक्ति इतनी तीव्र गति से नहीं बढ़ पाती फिर.
Jai, so can you explain that in English now, Vinayak Prabhu, about his question and then your answer, Prabhu? Maybe, 1 minute.
Yeah, he was asking that initially in Iskcon temple we have been advised to attend the Mangala Aarti every day. So if sometimes we cannot wake up early and we miss the Mangala Aarti, so what's the harm in that? So I explained that initially we start with like sadhan bhakti. Every day there are some rules that we follow in a proper discipline, and by following this discipline, slowly we make our shraddha, our faith is strong in Krishna consciousness, and this is how our attachment with Krishna increases. If sometimes we neglect with our daily duties or daily disciplines, then we cannot progress on our path of devotion at a proper pace. So that I explained.
Jai, okay. I think that was a very good answer, Prabhu. You talked about the process of sadhana and following the regulated principles and chanting just to get things going. And then once that faith is there, they can take up the process anywhere in the world and keep the sadhana strong. Okay. So this is interesting. He doesn't know so much English, but he knows Hindi. So we can answer in Hindi also.
Good. So you take care of, Hindi.
Jai, yes. Vinayak Prabhu was very good.
Hindi de janta.
Jai, okay. Anything else, Rishabdev Prabhu? Vinayak Prabhu? Vinay? Rupa Manjari Prabhu?
Yeah, I wanted to confirm that is Bhakti Devi and Tulsi Maharani the same thing?
Bhakti Devi and Tulsi Maharani, are they the same thing? They're both devotees?
Yeah, because I don't know about because every day we say that Bhakti Devi ki jai. So who is Bhakti Devi? That I wanted to know.
Isn't that in Prabhupada's song? Does Prabhupada say Bhakti Devi ki jai? So
Yeah.
isn't there? No?
I don't know. Maybe someone can answer.
Okay, let me
in the Jai Om first.
let me see if Prabhupada says Bhakti Devi ki jai.
Wow.
Let me find out. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna share this so people, devotees can see online also.
Right.
Share screen. So it is there. All glories to the sacred Tulsi Devi ki jai. All glories to the sacred Tulsi plant. Bhakti Devi ki jai. All glories to Bhakti Devi, the goddess of devotion. So,
Hey, hey, thank you. Tanto Rago. Hey, thank you.
so what do you think, Vinayak Prabhu?
I want to ask who is Bhakti Devi?
Okay, let's find out. Anyone knows the answer to that question, they can answer. Bhakti Devi.
Bhakti Devi is the mother of Gyan and Vairagya.
Okay. This is not Prabhupada. Let's see what does Prabhupada say. What's the name, Bhakti Devi? Okay, here it is. Vinayak Prabhu. You see it? You can read it.
Bhakti Devi is the expansion of Srimati Radharani.
Let's see what else say. Okay, there you go. So they also use it in Narada, Padma Purana. Narada vows to Srimati Bhakti Devi, the personification of devotional service. Oh, beautiful faced one. There's no other age like Kali Yuga, the present age, because you will be established in every house as well as in the heart of every person. So is that pretty much clear, Prabhu? Bhakti Devi and Tulsi Devi is two different persons.
And what is the scripture you're reading from?
It's from Back to Godhead, and then Prabhupada doesn't say much about it, but the word Bhakti Devi is used here. It's in the Back to Godhead magazine.
Yeah, well, this is news for me after all these years.
Yeah. And then Prabhupada says in 1969 to a letter to Jadurani. Is it Jadurani? No, Rukmini. Bhakti Devi is an expansion of Srimati Radharani. All right. Okay.
But I wonder what her form, she's got a beautiful form, or so it's said. I wonder, where does she exist?
Let's see, writings of the past acharyas. This is some writings of the previous acharyas, and but it's talk.
That's very interesting. This is part of the Uttama Adhikari process.
Yeah. So here it says, from the transcendental realm, Bhakti Devi reveals to the jiva the full rasa in the name, and by her mercy, the jiva takes on his spiritual body and enters into the pastimes and tastes rasa.
Huh.
So this is from Harinam Chintamani, chapter 15, Bhajana Pranali. Anyways, that's that. Anything else, Vinayak Prabhu? Or Rishabdev Prabhu? Okay, let me see if there's any discussions online on our WhatsApp, on our Facebook and YouTube. Comments or anything like that. Okay. So there was a question. Let me project it on our screen here. I answered it, but I'll put it up there again. Christopher Allen, he's our viewer from, I think, UK or England or something. Is the vaccine demoniac? Hare Krishna. So I said, we're not taking any vaccines. Keep clean, eat healthy foods offered to Krishna, and live a simple and healthy lifestyle. Anyone wants to say anything else? They can answer here. Is the vaccine demoniac? Hare Krishna, Prabhus.
Well, obviously the vaccine's demoniac. It's made using pieces of human embryo as well as animal parts. It can't be not demoniac. Srila Prabhupada, there's some controversy. People say Prabhupada took vaccines, and he had a vaccine card, and it was always checked off that he had taken the vaccine. But I know for a fact that Shyamasundar and others that were his personal servants when traveling, they would, like, he came into Bombay, and back then 10 rupees was a good chunk of money. It'd be like, $10. And when Prabhupada came in for the vaccine, he had one of the servants hand the vaccine fellow $10, and the guy stamped it without giving him the injection.
No vaccines.
Yeah, Prabhupada was not fond of vaccines.
Vaccines are bogus.
So it seems.
Yeah. I mean, our Krishna consciousness lifestyle is, we eat clean, we stay clean, we chant Hare Krishna. So what is the need for vaccine? I mean, eat.
And on top of keeping clean, we're protected by Krishna.
Yes.
If we are surrendered to Krishna.
Yes.
Or put it this way, insofar as we are surrendered to Krishna, we are protected by Krishna. So if I'm surrendered 10%, then I'm protected 10%. If I'm surrendered 90%, then I'm protected 90%. If I'm 100% protected, that's what Prabhupada was.
Right. Okay, so that's about it for the.
100% protected by Krishna means you must be an Uttama Adhikari. It's not an honorific thing. It's not like you become protected by Krishna because you join this temple or wear this clothing or something of that sort. You're 100% protected when you're 100% surrendered. And then you can give, when you are not only surrendered, but filled with the Bhakti Prema, then you can give that shelter to others.
Yes. You cannot
that's what-
give something that you don't have, right?
That's why I'm almost perplexed why people want to go for the type of initiators that they have in Iskcon. They don't have the capacity to give that sort of mercy.
Hmm.
They're going through the motions, but imitation, but they don't have the actual, they don't have what it takes. They don't know how to do it. They have no realization in that direction. Nor are they directly represented. And it's not even realization on the part of the guru or disciple. It's a question of Krishna awarding that intelligence from Krishna Loka to the person called the transparent via medium. Transparent via medium means it's coming down through that person as though Krishna himself without any interruption. Now, if a person says, well, there's an advanced devotee, he's taking initiation, he's an Iskcon devotee, he's carrying on the Sampradaya, and he's got disciples. So how much of the causeless mercy of Krishna is being given to the disciple by that process? With Prabhupada, more than 100%. With that fellow, 30%, 20%, even 80%. Why settle for less?
You said a key word, transparent via medium. So I think the next discussion is that we should talk about these key words like transparent via medium, Uttamadakari. These words are swept under the rug in Iskcon.
They are now, but they weren't when Prabhupada was here.
Right. Right. Kanishta-adhikari, Uttamadakari, Madhyamadakari.
Prabhupada's lotus feet in front of his seating place, and you saw him, the word transparent via medium was the most obvious thing in the room.
Another
Everybody
thing is
there was uplifted, not uplifted emotionally or psychologically, uplifted as a conscious being.
Yeah. When
I
it's
can't
pretty
say uplifted spiritually because we weren't spiritual. We were acolytes, we were beginners, but we were given a lift by Prabhupada that took us beyond our limitations. And if anyone wants a guru, they have to have a guru that will take them beyond their limitations, not just ritualistically, not just because he knows more Sanskrit or because he's been doing it longer. No, it has to be a person who can take you back to home, back to Godhead now, not some other day. That doesn't mean you're going to go back to Godhead now, but they have the capacity to do it. When we would sit in front of Prabhupada, the first thing we realized was how inadequate we were. We sit in front of Prabhupada, he was lifting us to Krishna Loka. We'd be lucky to get out of our overcoat and our shawl in our body, you know. We were so stuck in our material consciousness, yet we could tell what he was doing. He was uplifting us to Krishna Loka. Unfortunately, we were not very qualified to be uplifted, but it got to be like that. It's in the Nectar of Instruction, the first part of it, where it's described that para attachment, when you're around a pure devotee and you're very close to the pure devotee and you're surrendered, you give up your sense of ego, you give up your sense of material self, and you begin to float in what is described in the Nectar of Devotion as the moon-like rays emanating from the pure devotee of the Lord. Moon-like rays. So when you do that, you begin to think it's you. Oh, I'm doing the moon-like rays. Not that I'm floating in Prabhupada's moon-like rays, but I, too, I'm here too. And you look around and there's several others like you that are completely caught up in Prabhupada's moon-like rays. And so you say, oh, moon-like rays. I've got him, he's got him, we've got moon-like rays. That is, Prabhupada said, that at that point, the devotee has fallen down. Why fallen down? Because he thinks it's he who's generating the moon-like rays. Just like a moth can be in the presence of an electric light, that doesn't mean the moth has become the electric light, but he may be very illuminated compared to moths off in the dark corner of the room, but he's there very glowing in the electric light bulb, but that doesn't mean that he is the light bulb. He's not the source of that light. So that's what the para attachment is. And if a person begins to think, and I would say that the 11 people that thought they could become gurus, they were all caught up in what they thought was para attachment. They didn't realize it wasn't coming, that they were not purified. They were in the presence of the pure devotee. They didn't realize they were not pure devotees. So they said, when Prabhupada's out of the way, I'll be the pure devotee. But very shortly, that whole glow wore off, particularly when they became gurus themselves, began initiating. That means they began taking on the karma of the people they initiated. So they sunk down and down and down. And some of them became initiated people that shouldn't have been initiated. They became sexually agitated. Then they would have sex with their disciples. Why? Because they thought they could take on that karma and liberate that person. Instead, they became dragged down by the disciple. Okay? Does that make sense at all?
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so any more discussions online, on Facebook, on YouTube? If you'd like to post a question or participate, just message me and I'll get you in the room. Or you can ask a question online also. Jai.
Jai. Did anyone post anything yet? Questions or comments?
Let me see. No questions, comments, no. Okay, let's see here.
Seems we tend to get fewer questions on Sunday.
I don't know,
I wonder if people are engaged in doing something else.
it just depends, our audience is a hit or miss. So
Saturday, we usually get quite a few.
mhm.
How does it go on Wednesday? Do we get comments on Wednesday or questions?
It's about the same. Sometimes we get more viewers, sometimes we get less viewers. It just depends. You can't really, it's a spontaneous thing.
But if we were Rishabh Dev, we might get 1,000 viewers.
He'll bring it. He'll bring all the devotees here.
Yes.
Okay, so Vinayak Prabhu, anything else you want to discuss, Prabhu? Or Vinay Agrawal, Prabhu?
Jai.
All right, okay. If not, then I will share something. Give me a minute.
Great.
Prabhu, like you just showed something from Harinam Chintamani. So in Harinam Chintamani, on chapter 5, there is some instructions about what to do when Guru is fallen down. So can you just show it if you have something on the screen?
Let's see. Harinam Chintamani. Let me see. Hold on.
Yeah, so as far as I remember in it, Haridas Thakur was saying that if somebody's guru has fallen down, he can take another guru or something like that.
Let's see. I'm trying to
Well,
find
that
it.
can be
Hold on.
solved by accepting Prabhupada, no? Why have a guru that falls down? What is the advantage of taking the guru to begin with? And what is the outcome of that guru? If you're chanting Hare Krishna is the way, it gives you deliverance at the beginning, so you get deliverance at the beginning, then what does the guru going to do? Take you in a circle? What's he going to do for you?
Yeah, but everybody is not open for these arguments. So.
Well, people can say, but that means they want an ordinary man for guru. Why? Why not accept an extraordinary being for guru? Namely, Uttamanikari Prabhupada. Why settle for less? I would like to ask.
I can't see it, Prabhu. I'm trying to find it. So, yeah, no, Prabhu, I certainly agree with you. If the guru falls down and you realize that you had a bogus guru, he was not qualified, you take Prabhupada as a guru, and then you won't have any. By this time, you're already trained up in the discipline and all these things by the,
Well,
so-called guru.
If you have a bogus guru and he teaches you to chant Hare Krishna and teaches you to bow down in front of the deity, he's done
Yeah.
service to you.
Yeah.
He's rendered service to you. If he falls down, well, if he's the guru, you're supposed to do what the guru does. Are you supposed to fall down too? What's the use,
Right. And we have seen historically that these fallen gurus, disciples took reinitiation, and the other guru also fell down. So now they have two gurus that have fallen down, and many of them are spiritually destroyed after being in the movement, serving so sincerely, and seeing the disaster that they have gone through. They just leave the movement. If they had accepted Prabhupada as their spiritual master, Shiksha and Diksha, and associated with the right type of devotees, they would have been humming along very nicely.
And the thing is, if Prabhupada were just a legendary figure, in other words, supposing Prabhupada existed 200 years ago, didn't write any books, didn't make any videos, didn't chant on records, wasn't presented in films. I mean, then all you would have is, well, that's what, even then, Thakur Bhaktivinoda said, he reasons ill who say Vaishnavas die, when thou art living still and sound. Vaishnavas die to live, and living spread the holy life around. That's for a person that didn't leave much in the way of tangible record of his existence. But Prabhupada left a huge supply of recordings, of kirtans, of lectures. Practically every chapter of every book that he wrote, he gave a lecture on it. So how is it possible that people want to find somebody less than that?
Yeah.
Particularly since the person less than that doesn't have the time or the inclination to bring the person to Prabhupada's sound vibration. Oh, listen to me, not to Prabhupada. Why? Why not have a guru? If you're going to be a guru, the guru should take you to sit down with headphones 10 hours a day and listen to Prabhupada's kirtan, Prabhupada's lectures, Prabhupada chanting, Prabhupada playing kartals, Prabhupada describing, Prabhupada things that he's talking about. Sit down 10 hours a day with headphones on and listen to all of that. Then come out and ask, who is the guru? They said, well, I thought I was listening to the guru on the headphones. Ah, that's a smart move. You were. It's Prabhupada. But if the person says, well, that was then, that's not, now we're modernizing, or what is it, Haridananda's got, that sort of thing, Krishna West. What an offense.
I mean, if you listen to Prabhupada 10 hours a day and do it, 3 days a week, you'll come out more on top than the Iskcon gurus. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, there's not even the shred of a comparison. Because
you can
a few little vibrations from Prabhupada literally outclass hundreds of hours of a bogus guru.
Right. Yeah.
And even if it's the same topic, he said, well, you're talking about Prabhupada's Chaitanya Charitamrita. Well, why don't we listen to Prabhupada talk about Prabhupada's Chaitanya Charitamrita? Why do we need to have you, guy who was born in Massachusetts and grew up not a vegetarian and didn't know your Gotra, why is it that you are qualified to discuss those things that Prabhupada did discuss, and you can just put it on a headphone and listen and there Prabhupada is discussing?
Yeah, that's what I did whenever they had classes here in Sacramento at the local congregation. I always posted Prabhupada's videos, audios. There's so many of that. If you spend years and years listening, you will not come to an end. So in this way, you were describing in Canada, you wanted to have a Prabhupada museum where Prabhupada people would come and hear and read from Prabhupada's original books.
20 men at a time could sit there on the fourth floor
Right.
under the peak of the roof with headphones on,
Right.
notepads, and they could listen to Prabhupada all day long. Harvard graduates is what I wanted.
Yeah. So why is there a need for these so-called elected, unelected GBC people voting in gurus? Why they need to be listened to when we have the whole library of Prabhupada's audios, original books, everything? Go through that then.
Well, I mean, if we want to be brutally honest, the term that describes why they rejected why did they reject Prabhupada's standard for GBC? The answer is just two words: money and power. They would rather have complete control over a small number of temples, which they can have complete control over, rather than have zero control over thousands of temples. Each temple is supposed to be independent. It doesn't need a GBC in charge of it, and you don't need a central. We're so used to Iskcon being centralized like a giant church that we don't realize that Prabhupada never wanted it to be centralized. Prabhupada wanted Iskcon to be all individual temples, and the GBC was meant to go from temple to temple to help them expand, to help them perfect what they were doing, and then go back to their own temple. And with that experience of leading others, you can lead your own congregation then. Much better than if you hadn't left your temple at all. You can get provincial. GBC is in Chicago. What does he know about Detroit? But if he's a GBC, he can go from Chicago to Detroit to help people open up a temple. I sort of did what the GBC was supposed to do in 1969. I would go from temple to temple, carving deities, building the temple rooms, and teaching them how to use the RT instruments, the RT paraphernalia, six items, ghee lamps and whatnot. Before they just did what they called dupe artik, they were offering incense only. So I went around. I didn't see myself as a GBC, but I did exactly what Prabhupada wanted the GBC to do. You go there with something that you share that with the people that don't know, then you go somewhere else and share that, plus what you learn from the people that didn't know. They know something now. You bring that also to another temple, and you keep doing it. But I wasn't a GBC. I just went to a dozen temples, but it might as well have been a GBC. I hadn't even thought of it until recently. So that's what the GBC was meant to do, is to become, believe it or not, the GBC's job is to be servant of the servant, 10,000 times the servant of the Lord. The GBC is not meant to be in charge. The GBC is meant to serve. Who? Oh, the GBC will serve Prabhupada. You will serve Prabhupada how? As a GBC, how do you serve Prabhupada? You, as a GBC, you serve Prabhupada by going to a temple of some guy that just wanted to open a temple, has no very much experience, and help him develop the standard. That's what I did in Detroit. That's what I did in Boston. That's what I did in New Vrindavan also, Berkeley, Seattle. I went there and I set things up. That's what the GBC does. He goes and helps them set things up. And then maybe in today's world with so many Indian people, Hindus in America, that's where I was in America. If you have so many Indians now, you sort of like reach out to the Indians that come to the temple and have them help build businesses. They help businessmen, say, have, now they're all IT, but if they have businesses, and even IT is a good business for temples, and they have business, some sort of business, a clothing store, a grocery store, work that into with the temple so that the temple owns part of it. So as a result, the temples can get bigger and bigger, can buy bigger and bigger land, or create buildings with architects to become big temples, beautiful big temples. And that is done by the GBC, not being in charge, but by serving the temple president of that temple who is in charge.
Mm.
In other words, the word Prabhu comes into play. Prabhu means master. So if I'm a GBC and I go to the temple president, is he supposed to grovel because I'm the GBC? No, I grovel because I see him as my master. I'm here, Prabhu, to serve you. Oh, we want to expand. We want to make more rooms. We want to get a bigger building. We want to grow crops in the backyard. We want to do this and that. Please help us. I am your servant. I will do whatever it takes to fulfill your need. That's the GBC.
Sure.
The actual GBC. That they can do other functions too that are on a higher level. But the basic thing is, I am your, who are you? I'm the GBC. Oh, where'd you come from? I was elected. Really? When? Oh, last week. What is your job? What is your duty? What are your jobs here? Are you coming to lord it over my temple and tell me what to do and kick me in the butt if I don't do it the way you like it? No. So what is your job? I am your eternal servant, Prabhu. I've come here to make your job easier. I came here to make you more powerful. Not that I'm powerful and you obey me. I came here to make you more powerful.
Hare Krishna.
I came here so that you would become able to command 20 city blocks with businesses, playgrounds, schools, all Krishna conscious.
We are servants.
Yes, I am your, not, yeah, we are servants. You, if you're a GBC by yourself, you go there, I am your servant. Then when you set it up or help them set it up, you can go away. Then they work and work to try to make it work the way we did when Prabhupada was around. When Prabhupada was at a temple and he said, do such and so, he would go to another temple. We didn't just sit back and do nothing. We immediately implemented Prabhupada's desire to do what he asked to see done. Then when he came back, our whole life and soul was, our hearts were in our throats, hoping that what we did was somewhere within 1,000,000 miles close of what he had wanted to see done. That's what we did. And that's what must be done in the future. And that's what the GBC must become, is the servant of the servant of the servant, 10,000 times the servant of the Lord.
All right. Try.
Okay.
Any questions here, Prabhus? Realizations? Rishabh Prabhu, what's going on? You've been very attentively listening.
Yes, I've just been listening, but I also had a question. I was reading the introduction for the Srimad Bhagavatam,
Mhm.
and And it said, oh no, I think it was in the first page, or I don't know what it's called.
Canto.
But, yes, on the first canto, but it mentioned the Gayatri Mantra.
Yes.
Should I recite it 3 times a day?
Not yet. When you're initiated, you can become initiated to chant the Gayatri Mantra.
Oh,
At the beginning of the movement, the Gayatri Mantras in the front of the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the
Yeah.
first canto.
yes. The first
It's
canto. The first,
Om Bor Bhavasvatat, like that.
uh-huh. Yes.
Do you know any verse, how it sounds?
Yes. Om Bur Bhuva Subha Tatsavitur Bharenyayam.
Which chapter?
The first chapter.
Well, which part of it? The first part of the first chapter?
Yes, the first line, I think.
Srila Prabhupada talks about the Gayatri Mantra and how Lord Brahma.
That's funny, because when we learned the Gayatri, when I took the Brahmin initiation myself from Prabhupada, after about 6 months after my initiation or thereabouts, it was considered secret. You were not supposed to share that with anybody or tell anybody.
Oh, wow.
Interesting, man. And the Maharishi used to charge $25. The Maharishi Mahashogi used to charge $25 for 1 syllable of the Gayatri Mantra. So he sold syllables of the Gayatri Mantra for $25 each. So much for him, huh?
Yeah.
But that's interesting. But I can tell from your countenance, your attitude, your mentality, you are a devotee in your previous life.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Prabhu.
You have that consciousness, very sincere from the heart. And that's why you can get 900 people to participate in your program, because you have the sincerity by which they're attracted. And the potency, the sound vibration coming. So we're looking forward to cooperating together with you, that we'll make this a very successful movement. And we're going to restore the movement to Prabhupada, and we're going to set up the exact formula how to restore the GBC to being elected for 3-year terms, not lording it over like some sort of cardinals in the Vatican.
Right. Anything else, Rishabh Dev Prabhu?
No, not that I could think of right now.
So you've been reading Srimad Bhagavatam. That's cool. Feel free to give me a call over the week if you want to discuss anything.
Yes.
Keep in contact.
Ramachandra has a very big supply of Prabhupada's original books. And it's very important when you get the books that they be the original books that he printed. For some reason, there's people in the temple, the same ones that have supported the idea of gurus going on infinitely from Prabhupada without contributing anything other than lowering the consciousness and lowering the intelligence level of the congregation. That these they changed the books for some reason. That's going to get changed back again in a period of time. If you don't want to know about it, because right now there's probably 800 versions of the Christian Bible and Dead Sea Scrolls and all that. And there's scholars working 24/7 trying to establish which of the scriptures of the Bible are the genuine ones. Well, we don't have that problem. We have Prabhupada's original books, and we have a bunch of others that have been changed. And they're not even changed all the same. They've changed in one way or another way. It's just sort of weird. So we have the original books still. So in the end, probably in your lifetime for sure, those books will all be restored back to the original, and the potency will become so incredible that the world will come begging for Krishna consciousness. They'll come begging to read these books. if they're presented as they are, which means if you read this books, you will understand everything that you've ever wanted to know in your entire life. Why? Because these are Krishna, the books are themselves Krishna. Krishna is the reservoir of pleasure. He's also the reservoir of knowledge. So all knowledge is coming from Krishna, and Krishna's knowledge, the knowledge from Krishna is represented in the books that Prabhupada translated. Why? Prabhupada was not an ordinary Indian scholar. Prabhupada was coming from Krishna Loka, empowered. I used to sit at night, sometimes in West Virginia. I'd creep up the stairs and I'd watch Prabhupada translating. He had 5 ancient books in front of him and a dictaphone. This is before cell phones could act like dictaphones. He had a dictaphone, and you would hold the thing, turn it on, and he'd be looking. His eyes were big, large eyes. And he'd be like, he wasn't just looking at the books, he was absorbing the books with his eyes. And you go from one book, another book, same topics, different quotes from different authors. And he would pick out what he wanted, speak it into the microphone. And that is coming from Krishna, not from a mortal human being, and not from ordinary editors that don't know when to stop. I saw that what he did. And anyone who thinks they can duplicate it, they're not going to do well in their next birth. They will be shredded in their next lifetime. Hare Krishna.
Jai, all right. So we got about 9 minutes to the devotees. It's counting down time now. So let me see if there's any comments.
Yeah, that would be nice. Is that Mr. Agarwal that's on the screen? Or
Yeah, that's him. Yes. Yeah.
Vinay Agarwal? Yeah. Could ask him what does Agarwal mean? What does wal means vendor, selling. Agar, does that mean incense?
आपका last name का meaning क्या है? Agarwal.
Caste.
Caste. He said Agarwal means caste.
Agarwal means
Oh, caste, yes, of course.
merchant.
But wal means that you're selling, Misty Wala, Agarwala.
वो बोल रहे हैं कि वाल मिस्टी वाला ये वाला वो वाला
No.
नहीं है ना?
It's mean
Agarwala.
In
Wait a
lobby of
second.
merchant.
Agarwal,
What?
that incense.
क्या?
lobby of
Incense.
merchant.
Selling incense, very high level thing.
Unity of merchant.
Unity of merchant. He's saying something to do with business.
Yes.
Of course, Wala means business.
Yes, Prabhuji.
अच्छा.
But Agar, what is Agar in Hindi?
अगर के मतलब क्या है? Meaning क्या है? अगर.
Agar is our first Guru Maharaj's name. Agrasen.
Oh, he's saying agar means it's their first guru. Agar
Yes.
Sen was the first guru.
Yes.
Okay.
One minute, Prabhuji.
अच्छा.
Okay, so I have a misunderstanding. So anyhow, let's
I'm
keep
come
going.
back after 5 minutes. Okay.
Okay. अच्छा.
By the way, Sri Agarwalji, so nice you're here. So Mama Chandra, go ahead. Are you looking for, did anyone leave any?
Let me
statements?
check. Hold on. No. One devotee says, peace and blessings to you all. So this devotee is watching. And Moses Prabhu, I think he's in New York. He made a comment. The vaccine is unnecessary for those who clasp the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and keep Srila Prabhupada's original books close. It's a nice comment.
What was the first thing what was the first part?
He said the vaccine is unnecessary for those who clasp the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and keep Prabhupada's original books close. Try.
To quote Haridas Thakur, who was himself a expansion of Brahma, the associate, but he came as a little Muslim, and the Nawab who condemned him to death said, Haridas, we are going to kill you. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's not, Socrates said this. Socrates, we are going to kill you. He was poisoned with hemlock and died, his body. He said, but Prabhupada said Socrates knew that he was not this body, that he was spirit soul, because when they said, Socrates, we are going to kill you, and here he is in chains in front of the court, and he said, well, then first you will have to catch me. First you have to catch me. Ramachandra?
Yes, Prabhupada used that in the Dialectic Spiritualism book. Yes.
Yeah, I was there when they did that.
Yeah. That book is a very powerful book. I'm not sure why they don't publish it, because it will turn.
They're not interested in knowledge.
Yeah.
And besides which, in the colleges now, the people are not interested in knowledge.
Yeah, they're very low standard.
Critical theory or something of that sort. They are not particularly interested in studying the ideas of philosophers.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So that's even ourselves, Prabhupada wrote so many books. Well, he wrote, in my opinion, 4. Iṣṭa-goṣṭhī, Bhagavad Gita, as it is, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. And what you get from those, the Iṣṭa-goṣṭhī shows you God exists. When you get to the end of it, so take aside your effulgence, I want to see you. Next is the Bhagavad Gita as it is. There is God speaking. Only scripture in existence where God, Krishna, is the speaker of the scripture. The Bible, God doesn't speak particularly. There's examples of God talking, but it's not like giving a whole philosophy. And then the next is, well, now we know God is standing on the battlefield and he's speaking, but what does he do? And then you go to the Srimad Bhagavatam and you learn what he does from being a baby up until he leaves his pastime in Dwapara Yuga. All the way through his life, 10 cantos. The first canto is the feet of the deity of Krishna, then the ankles and the knees and as you go up the scale of the books, it takes you higher and higher till finally you get to Krishna's lotus face. And that is the completion. You can't jump to 10th canto. You have to get there first, as did Rishabhdev, by starting with the first canto. Perfect. That's the way to do it. Then you say, well, we know all about Krishna. It's wonderful. I'm overwhelmed with the desire to serve Krishna. I'm reading about Krishna. I know that Krishna is God on the battlefield. That he must do something else. Yeah. Oh, yes, he's a baby and stealing butter and giving to monkeys and killing his uncle Kamsa, doing all those amazing things as you see in Krishna book or in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And they said, well, I know what Krishna does, but now I have an overwhelming desire to serve Krishna. Then you get to the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is the essence of how to serve Krishna.
We have 2 minutes left.
Wow.
All right, Jai. Okay.
Oh, by the way, Ramachandra, can you ask everyone who is listening to us and in this session to please pray for the success that a person named Jyotir Gamaya will become restored to her rightful parents.
Hare Krishna, Jai.
Can you ask for that?
So you have already asked Narayan Prabhu.
Yesterday, yes.
Yesterday, so yes. So you want to elaborate, or you just want to say that? You want me to say it?
I just want people to give their goodwill, their heartfelt blessing to us. Because what am I? I'm fallen. And the mother of Jyotir also, we're all fallen people. That needs to be protected. We want her to be protected in whatever way Krishna wishes her to be protected.
Right.
Okay? That's enough. Whatever good is gotten, that's already accomplished. Thank you, Prabhu.
Haribol. Okay, so anyone who would like to get in contact with us, Narayan Prabhu, Manjari, anyone here, please join the WhatsApp group. We have it in the description, and they can personally contact us. And if they hear something that is they want to get elaboration on, sure, we're available for that also. Any doubts, questions, what else? Comments?
And one thought to part with, because we were touching on it, is if you're worried about the pandemic and the vaccines, don't worry. You're eternal. Even if you died tomorrow, you're eternal. You take another body, fresh, brand new one. You don't have to worry. What we worry about is chanting Hare Krishna, not how long we can drag our body out. And mine's been dragged for quite a while.
Well, that's what Krishna said to Arjuna, that, hey, either they'll kill you or you'll kill them, but do not fear, they'll get new, nice bodies. Their old bodies are useless and getting old.
Yes. He said that in the Bhagavad Gita.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
So you just said that same thing.
Okay, it's time to wrap it up.
Haribol, all right. Thank you very much to all the devotees for joining. Please join us next time.
Thank you, Manjari, for keeping us on track.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Jai.
Hare
Okay.
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Mahaprabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All right, Mahaprabhu, Prabhus, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for joining. All glories to
Mr.
Srila Prabhupada.
Agarwal, Ki Jai. Shri Agarwal Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.